While it was only 4 races, the trial series of NASA Rallycross Lites was a hit. With 4 unique winners and a title battle that literally came down to the final corner, the series was immediately kept full-time in the NASA ranks. Fresh off his championship, Josh Mertz comes in holding car number 1, but he hasn't been back-to-back since 3 in a row in 2015. We wonder what will happen in the hills of Scotland, as we will find out together tonight. NASA Rallycross Lites from Knockhill is next. Our venue for this evening is the virtual Knockhill circuit. Opened in 1974, North American Simulated Auto Racing started visiting this circuit in 2022A, but this is the first visit of the Lites here. A lap of this circuit is roller coaster at 0.68 miles in length, with 6 corners in total, 5 of which to the right and 1 to the left. The lap begins with a climb up the hill and immediate plunge down Duffus Dip. The road angles away slightly, so we will notice cars using all of the green AstroTurf on corner exit and the grass in turn number 2. Immediately following Duffus Dip is the signature dirt section. It's 1 lane and extremely bumpy, and it'll require the driver's peak focus to not end up in the barrier at any point. The Joker is a longer lap here in Knockhill, but we watch out on the Joker merge, as we've seen so many cars over the past couple seasons merge with the traffic and cause calamity. Our format for NASA Rallycross is as follows. 15 cars will be split into 4 heat races of 6 laps apiece. The top 2 will transfer to the feature. The winner gets 3 bonus points, and the runner-up gets 2, and you have to take the Joker lap once. The rest of our competitors will be funneled into the semifinals, 5-lap races. Those winners will also receive 1 bonus point, Joker lap once as well. This sets the grid for the 10-lap 10-car feature race, where the points are awarded and trophies are handed out. And unique to NASA Rallycross, 2 Jokers are taken during the feature. The second season of NASA Rallycross Lites commences tonight on the Automotive Sports Network. With Bryan, Sawyer in the production truck, it's Josh Mertz, as always, up in the commentary box, as we welcome you to Fife, Scotland. Our cameras for the entire season are provided by TrackCams22.com, and our intro music was produced by our very own Alex Abetti. If I'm anybody but Josh Mertz, I'm going to be super worried at this seating time, because the defending champion, 8 times overall in NASA, 37.517, and the next closest guy is his teammate, Joey Morissette, at a 38.0, Cody Crosgrove, 38.4, so it's a lot like shades of 2017 with the new JC Simsport team renamed from MRT in the offseason. Dubois, Grove rounding out the top 5, Palacio, Rakowski, Kaplinger, DeFino, Sowers, Robichaux, Rateau, DeGiacomo, and 2 interesting notes. Francois Martel chose not to qualify because apparently he has a lot of pace, as he said in chat, and Bryan Sawyer served a qualifying ban from the incidents that he had in Indianapolis last season. Heat number 1 grid is going to be Josh Mertz, Matt Grove, Gerald DeFino, and Joseph DeGiacomo, as Matt Grove reminding everyone to take 1 Joker over the radio. Mertz on track in car number 1, 6 laps, Joker lap once, and the first heat race of the season about to go green. Green flag off the line. Grove beats Mertz in the first phase of the start, and he will clear him down to turn number 1. What a move from the man from Pennsylvania. Mertz backs out of it and doesn't take the spot. Down to turn number 1. Connection issues for DeFino in the 845. His teammate DeGiacomo there, battling for the 3rd spot. Grove leads, exiting turn 1 and 2 through the dirt for the first time. Pulling him by about 2 to 3 car lengths is Grove. Mertz closes, exiting the dirt. No Joker in the first lap of the race here in Knockhill. You will get disqualified. Rounding the final couple of corners to end the first lap, Matt Grove will lead in the 472 ahead of Josh Mertz in car number 1. DeGiacomo and DeFino in the back of the field having their own little race. Down to turn 1 once again. Mertz deep on the brakes. Looks like Grove's going to let him have it. And the defending champion takes the lead. Not sure why Grove didn't put up a fight there. Maybe he thinks that he does have the transfer spot as the two 845 Subi cars having a very wonderful battle for third and fourth in the true nature of NASA Rallycross. Every position matters. As we take a look at the Joker rotation, Mertz will Joker in the 1, Grove does not in the 472. So where will this put car number 1 on Joker exit? The 845 car is nowhere close to him, so he's only behind Grove in the 472. So it looks like DeFino has looped it through the dirt. Such a tricky section to get right, like we've mentioned numerous times already, but so bumpy. As Mertz locked up the brakes there in car number 1 in turn number 2. So bumpy. The line has to be really 100% perfect. Otherwise, you're just going to skip over the dirt and lose speed. But there is a way to glide over the dirt and maintain speed, almost like a supercross or motocross track, as Grove jokers in the 472. Mertz will round the final corner. He will take back the lead from the Pennsylvania native as we take cross flags halfway home in heat number 1. DeGiacomo jokers and DeFino working his way through the dirt, still in the 845. Determined as ever is car number 1 to maintain this blue plate and maintain this car number 1. It was only done once by him in 2014 B, 15A, and 15B. But interestingly, the other 2 seasons, the latter 2 seasons, were canceled short, so he was never able to fully defend his championship. So we'll just have to wait and see. Bryan, Sawyer, Francois Martel also super fast, but they did not qualify as we take 2 laps to go. Last lap was a 38.519 for Mertz. Grove 39.537. And to put it in perspective, DeGiacomo, his last lap was a joker. It was a 47.7. He'll round the final corner to end this lap a 42.0. So the 1 and the 472 really running their own races. And it was a good battle for the 845 cars until DeFino had that issue. As Mertz comes around to take the white flag, almost putting DeFino a lap down. DeFino entering turn 2 now. Last lap for Grove, 40.1. Mertz ran a 38.4. DeGiacomo in the final couple of corners. DeFino exiting the dirt. Mertz midway through the dirt in car number 1. DeGiacomo 42.3. So realistically, everyone running their own pace levels, and that's the only tricky thing of the seeding rounds sometimes when you have 4 heat races is it gets a little bit drawn out. But Mertz doesn't care. Car number 1, position number 1, pole position for the Scottish round in NASA Rallycross in Knockhill. Mertz wins, and transferring will be Matt Grove as best of the rest, DeGiacomo and DeFino. Heat number 2 getting ready to go. Joey Morissette on the pole position for heat number 2. He's going to be flanked by 2 TWR struggle bus cars, Bryan, Sawyer, Marcos Palacio, and Vinny Sowers in the 365, getting ready for heat 2. Green flag off the line. Palacio beats Morissette in the first phase. Down to the first corner. They're going to be pretty much even. No, Palacio clears him. Sawyer to the outside. The struggle bus cars rounding the corner. Morissette gets passed by Palacio off the start and then potentially passed by Sawyer. Sawyer hits the dirt and runs out wide in the 88. Sowers takes that spot in the 365. Rounding through the dirt for the first time. We'll take a look and see. Of course, no jokers like I mentioned earlier on. But we'll wait and see if Sawyer can make a pass on Sowers, or will he be stuck behind? Apologies there. Morissette got confused, and Sowers hits the tire barrier in the 365. So just as we thought that
That was unintentional, all grass.
We were going to have a good race.
Yeah, my bad. I forgot about no joker first lap.
As Morissette admits there.
I got scared. I got my own head because of it.
Man.
Admits there no joker, and Sowers a little bit spooked. So as the storyline was developing that Bryan Sawyer was not going to be in a transfer spot because he was stuck in traffic, because of his Q ban, it's going to be a struggle bus battle here for the heat win. Palacio jokers in the 83. Well, notice on the 14 of Morissette, he doesn't have a roof number, and part of his fender is still painted in the green that Josh Mertz's car is. This is an interesting story. Morissette got to the track with a plain blue car, no sponsors, nothing on it. Josh Mertz approached him and said, "Hey, do you want a teammate?" Joey said, "Sure, that's fine with me." So JC Simsport took the spare car from the truck, reskinned it, missed the bit of paint on the fender, and now JC Simsport has 2 cars, and Morissette sitting in third behind the struggle bus cars of Bryan Sawyer and Marcos Palacio. Sawyer does not joker in the 88. Palacio did on that last time around, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens here between the struggle bus cars as Bryan Sawyer and Palacio, both, apologies there, they missed that final race in Phoenix. So who knows what would have happened if they were there in Phoenix, but either way, they are here, and they are both super fast in the 88 and the 83 as Morissette in the 14. What's interesting as well is he didn't have his permanent number registered either. So Morissette has a temporary car and a temporary number for this first race in Knockhill, but still, presence definitely not temporary. He sits in the 3rd spot. And the benefit is, if he doesn't get this transfer spot, he does have pole position or near pole position for the semi-finals. As Bryan Sawyer takes 2 laps to go in car number 88, still has not jokered ahead of his teammate as Palacio sits in 2nd, Morissette in 3rd. Vincent Sowers off the track in the 365 like we mentioned earlier on. Let's take a ride on board Bryan Sawyer and listen to the sounds of the Volkswagen Beetle as we complete this heat race. About a lap left. Super smooth as we ride on board still with Bryan Sawyer. You would have heard in the background, he passed Marcos Palacio in the 83. So Sawyer with no qualifying ban, he's going to line up on the outside of row number 2 alongside Josh Mertz in the 1. As the struggle bus cars looks like they'll bring this home in a formation finish. Sawyer ahead of Palacio. As best of the rest of the semifinal will be Joey Morissette.
Corner that I saw. Please be careful on that.
And Vincent Sowers. Our 3rd heat race here in Scotland. Cody Cosgrove, Jess Rakowski, Jake Robichaux, and Francois Martel. Matt Grove.
And not the first lap.
Reminding everyone, no jokers on the first lap and only 1 joker in this heat race. 2 of his team cars in this race. Green flag. Sportsman champion Cosgrove takes the lead off the start. Francois got a great run on the outside. It's going to keep Rakowski stuck in the middle. Down to turn 1. Very close to Cosgrove. On the outside goes Martel. Down to the first corner. Martel's going to hold it in the 12. What a move from the French-Canadian. He takes the lead over Cosgrove. Rakowski 3rd. Robichaux 4th. Through the dirt for the first time. Will Cosgrove have anything for Martel in car number 12? Latest winner in the championship. He won that final race in Phoenix in 2023A. Nearly into the tires goes the 12 as we end the first lap with Martel ahead of Cosgrove, Rakowski, and Robichaux in the 69 in 4th in last. Down to the first corner. Martel looks like he missed the apex just a bit and is turning in super late, missed the grass on the inside, and Cosgrove's going to benefit. Clips the tires there. Did Cosgrove in the 18, or the 15 according to iRacing's logic, but welcome to NASA, as it looks like Martel better run through the dirt. Rakowski hanging on in the 999 to these 2, so if anything goes wrong, like we've seen before, and Rakowski will joker in the 999, the driver from Maryland. As the top 2 up front, the 2 Canadians have not taken a joker lap. Cody Cosgrove will be defending the Sportsman Championship in the Supercars this season. That's going to be exciting to watch, and hopefully Francois Martel can put up a great fight. Came close, but had a couple bad races and missed a race last season in Supercars, so we wish the best of luck to them, and especially for Slapex Racing with Cody Cosgrove and Jake Robichaux. Looks like Rakowski got by Robichaux on the Joker merge. As Slipex is going to be Matt Grove, Cody Crosgrove, and Jake Robichaux. So they'll have a battle with the TWR Struggle Bus and with JC Simsport this season in Lights, and certainly with the other teams in Supercars. Halfway home, crossed flags in heat number 3 here in Scotland. Francois Martel's last lap was a 38.6, 39.2 for Crosgrove. Rakowski at the line, 38.8. So quicker than Crosgrove, and these guys have not jokered, so maybe Rakowski can take the fight. As I say that, misses the dirt or the grass patch on the inside of turn 2, and Robichaux all off the track, essentially, in turn 2. Such a tricky corner to get right, because really, there's one groove, and you have to run that grass on driver's right to be fast. Otherwise, just what happened to Sawyer earlier on, and just what happened to Robichaux is you just start losing it in the dirt. The car lazily just pushes itself out wide, bleeding lap time, as Martel somehow running that line and yet having grip as we take 2 laps to go. Last lap for him, 38.3, 39.2 for Crosgrove, and a 38.9 for Rakowski. She is slowly catching the 15 of Crosgrove, and I don't think these guys still have to joker. Crosgrove will not. So they will have to on the final lap. 38.1 for Martel, 38.7 for Crosgrove. Rakowski will cross the line. 39.0. So it's going to be neck and neck for this transfer spot potentially after the Joker merge, but we'll just have to wait and see. No pressure for these two. Pressure's on Rakowski, misses turn 2. Into the dirt. Maybe gave up a little bit of time in the 999 there through turn 2. Martel will enter the Joker in the 12. The 15 of Crosgrove will enter the Joker as well. Way far back is Rakowski, as Martel wins heat 3. And Crosgrove's going to hold it over Rakowski, who will go to the semifinal, and Jake Robichaux. Our final heat race of the evening. 3 cars.
What's the move on first lap there?
Olivier Rateau, Eric Kaplinger, Eric Dubois. One of the struggle bus cars in this race. Green flag. Kaplinger, great start compared to Dubois. Single file down to turn number 1. Looks like Dubois not as fast as Rateau. Rateau almost took the spot down to the first corner. Kaplinger, no pressure from these two. They both, all 3 of them, run it wide in turn 2. Nearly into the wall was Dubois, side by side in the dirt. Tricky on the first lap of the race between these two. And Rateau, obviously, giving him plenty of room and plenty of time. So much time to get this stuff done. Looks like Rateau struggled through the dirt there in the 63. Dubois in the 034 in second. And Kaplinger in the 277 leads at the end of the first lap. As Kaplinger down to turn number 1. 42.297. Yes, it was a start lap, but compare everybody. 44.756 for Dubois. 47.638 for Rateau. And right as I look, slams into the tires in turn 2. And that car, if it still runs, is going to be angry in the left rear region of that car. Dubois in the tires as well, and over goes the 034. And if you're Eric Kaplinger, you say, all I got to do is drive 40 miles an hour, exaggerated of course, and not crash into any walls. Because his 2 challengers have crashed in some way, shape, or form. Dubois' car is much less damaged than Rateau's. Rateau, I would bet 90 degrees at least to keep that car going straight. And as such, Kaplinger, huge lead. Let's call it half a lap.
Oliver, I would just park that baby.
As Crosgrove comes over the chat, and Kaplinger out front. Dubois still sits in a transfer spot, so we'll just have to wait and see as Kaplinger jokers in the 277 to take cross flags. Interested to see the progression of Eric Dubois and Olivier Rateau, and really Eric Kaplinger. These guys more newcomers to NASA Rallycross, a little bit down on pace, and it's gonna be fascinating, really interesting to watch. Whatever term you'd want to use to see these guys improve. As Olivier Rateau, father of Romain Rateau, championship challenger from last season. Don't believe that the Meek Esport cars, except for the elder Rateau, will appear this season in NASA Rallycross. We'll just have to wait and see. Gutted for what happened to Romain after that race in Crandon. Kaplinger takes 2 laps to go. Dubois jokers in the 034. Still ahead, comfortably, of the wounded 63 car of Olivier Rateau. Kaplinger might run into him, Rateau that is, on this next lap or so, so we'll just have to wait and see. As through the dirt goes Kaplinger, exiting the dirt is Rateau, and entering the dirt will be Eric Dubois in the 034. Comfortably in a transfer spot, a little bit down on pace, of course, and Rateau for sure going to be lapped as Kaplinger takes the white flag in the 277. A little bit muted heat race here in Scotland, and Dubois has had a comfortable run to take this transfer spot. Still 1 lap to go, and anything can happen in NASA Rallycross. Rateau off the lead lap, Kaplinger all by himself. Last lap for Dubois was a 45.713, 40.169 for Kaplinger, but it was a joker lap for Dubois, so obviously a little bit slower on that lap. As Kaplinger takes the checkered flag in the heat race here, and for some reason it's counting Eric Dubois as in 3rd place. So Olivier Rateau has taken the transfer with an obliterated car. We grid up for the semifinal, so the top 2 will transfer. I know we talked about the opener. There's 2 with the winner transferring out of each, depending on how iRacing decides to split everything. So as a result, we have 5 laps. De Giacomo, Morissette, Rakowski, Dubois, DeFino, Sawyer, and Jake Robichaux. 5 laps, 1 joker, top 2 transfers. And all the time, these races, always a brawl. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Rakowski looks like she jumped the start a little bit. Hopefully that's not a penalty for the 999. Green flag. Great start for Morissette. In the middle is Rakowski with the 55 of De Giacomo and Dubois on the outside. Down to turn number 1. Braking early. Everyone ping-ponging was Vinny Sawyer off of Eric Dubois and Jake Robichaux. Down to turn 1. Morissette leads ahead of Rakowski. De Giacomo checks Sawyer in the 365. Connection issues with DeFino and Robichaux through the dirt for the first time. Morissette leads over Rakowski, over Dubois, Sawyer, DeFino battling side by side with his teammate through the dirt, and Robichaux out back. Remember, no jokers on the first lap of the race, but Joey Morissette doing what his teammate Josh Mertz did in the heat race, leading at the end of the first lap. Jess Rakowski in the slipstream of the 14, down to turn number 1. Dubois second. And if anything goes wrong, Dubois third, sorry, apologies there. If anything goes wrong with them, Dubois pounce, but Sawyer sitting in the 4th spot as well in the 365. In the back of the field, Jake Robichaux tried to take the spot on Gerald DeFino, but DeFino still having connection issues. And I'll tell you, that's one of the most terrifying things, is to have to race a warping car. Never fun. Morissette has not jokered, Rakowski has not either, nor is Dubois, so no strategy yet as we are halfway home in the semifinal here in Knockhill. Sawyer's jokers in the 365 will put him to last. Never mind, De Giacomo did as well in the 55, so De Giacomo sits in last for 845 Subi. Morissette runs it wide. Rakowski rips the grip strip. What a run in the 999. Her last lap was a 40.320 compared to Morissette at a 39.7. About a car length separates the two through the dirt. Exiting the dirt. Stretch it to maybe a car length. Maybe make it 2 at the best. Still no joker. Dubois doesn't joker either. 2 laps to go. DeFino, Robichaux, Sawyer, De Giacomo in the back of the field. Car length. Maybe make it 1.5 between Morissette and Rakowski. Down to turn number 1. Who gets the better run through the corner? Rakowski grips the grass again. Much better run. But Morissette a little bit too far away. Deep on driver's right through the dirt that first phase, and then the right-hander, Rakowski's there, has to get on the binders in the 999. Coming to the white flag, will we see a joker from any of them? Dubois does. First pin is pulled from Eric Dubois in the 034. With these two squabbling as we take the white flag, that might be what Dubois needs, because we've seen teammates or even siblings in the case of the Kingsburys crash when battling in the semifinal. If we remember that race from 2021 in Charlotte, Rakowski misses the grass there. Morissette hits it a little bit in the 14. Trying to get into the race in his first start for JC Simsport is Joey Morissette from Kansas, the driver from Maryland, Jess Rakowski, then Eric Dubois in the 034. These two will have to joker. Rakowski goes to the inside. She doesn't take to the joker, and I think Rakowski thinks the race is 6 laps. Final corner. Joey Morissette's going to win this race, and Eric Dubois will transfer in the 034. He did this last season as well. Dubois transfers. Best of the rest is Sowers. Then it's DeFino. Then it's DeGiacomo. Rakowski's going to finish last today because she did not joker in the semifinal. And bad luck strikes her again. This isn't the first time. Remember, she jokered twice last season and then jokered incorrectly the first season here on the first lap of the race and got disqualified. So Jess Rakowski certainly not friends with the track here in Scotland. We're going to step aside for just a couple moments, but when we come back, it is feature time here in Scotland.
You're so interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like that you're not hiding anything from me.
By the way, nice IP address. I like your neighborhood.
You are so special. This ad is just for you.
I learned so many things from you.
You are so generous.
With your personal data.
Switch on privacy, switch off trackers and viruses. Go to nordvpn.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
Side nearly 3 wide of Matt and Palacio. Front bumper of Bebetti down to turn 2. Clog takes the lead. Real still hasn't jokered inside. Clog on McKenna. Contact between them. Well, Romain Rateau has led all evening long, but Schofield to the inside, and he makes it stick. Funny story about Bryan Sawyer. He showed up to the track 5 minutes ago with 0 practice, and each lap increasing in pace for the man from Wisconsin. Mertz deep on the brakes in the 812, clobbering the curve to get by Olivier Rateau. So we welcome you back to round 5 of the championship overall and round 1 of the second season of NASA Rallycross Lites here at Knockhill with Bryan Sawyer in the production truck. I am Josh Mertz up in the commentary box on the Automotive Sports Network. Just a reminder, our cameras for the entire season are provided by TrackCams22.com, and our intro music was produced by our very own Alex Abetti. as we get ready to go green in Scotland. Mertz on pole. Sawyer, Martel, Kaplinger, Grove, Palacio, Cosgrove, Rateau,
remember,
Morissette, Dubois. 10 cars, 10 laps.
So I like to see all the jello.
2 jokers. Who will be victorious in the first round of Lights in 2023B Green Flag in Scotland? Off the line, Martel got a great start, but he had nowhere to go. Behind Mertz, down to turn number 1, side by side, Mertz and Sawyer, side by side, Martel with Kaplinger as the struggle bus cars on the outside. Sawyer feeds in between Mertz and Martel to the inside. Cosgrove goes on Kaplinger. Here comes Grove to the inside of Kaplinger. Morissette hits Palacio. Palacio in the back of the field in the 83. Through the dirt for the first time, defending champion Mertz, car number 1, leads ahead of Bryan Sawyer, ahead of Francois Martel, Cody Cosgrove, Matt Grove, Kaplinger, Palacio, Morissette, Rateau, and Dubois. Remember, no jokers on the first lap of the race, so that will be the order that we will end the first lap on, and Sawyer, a couple car lengths back from Mertz. Palacio, interesting to see him so deep in the field in the 83. We'll just have to wait and see as him and Kaplinger got shoved out of line. Sawyer to the inside of Mertz in turn 2. What a run from the Wisconsin native, but the tire barrier's there and he got pinched to it. Nowhere to go. These three on top of each other. And this is going to be a fantastic feature. Remember, Bryan Sawyer had a quali ban. Francois Martel just said, I'm too fast to qualify. I'll insult everybody. My interpretation of the words, at least. Down to the final corner again. No jokers from the top 3. And I'll tell you what, Dubois and Rateau, we're going to keep an eye, even though it's for last, because that battle's like it's for first, as Kaplinger and Palacio joker. Sawyer comes over the radio and says it's not like Daytona, as Martel nearly bump drafted him, or not like NASCAR, I should say, as these three pulling away. Last lap for Mertz was a 39.0, 39.1 for Sawyer, 38.6 for Martel, and we know if Martel gets out front, he's going to pull away. He did that last season in Phoenix with Mertz. And Kaplinger and Palacio battling. Looks like Palacio got passed by, or couldn't get past his teammate, I should say, down at turn number 2. Dubois holds the spot over the struggle bus cars. So, jokers begin to unravel. Bryan Sawyer jokers, so does Martel, so does Morissette in the 14. Dubois jokers and gets by the JC Simsport cars, so does Kaplinger as Palacio jokers. Mertz down to turn 1. Cosgrove in second now, Grove in third. Great run for the Slapex cars, the only 2 in this race, as Sawyer still battling with Martel in the 12, there. Dubois, Kaplinger, Morissette, Palacio. And so interesting to see why Palacio is so far down in traffic, the Argentine, in car number 83. We know how fast he is. Mertz jokers in the 1, Cosgrove jokers, Grove jokers, so does Sawyer. Sawyer's strategy's done. Martel does not joker. Martel comes out between Cosgrove, and Mertz. Split strategies between the top 3, and this is what's so fascinating about NASA Rallycross with the 2 jokers, because you don't know when the second pin is going to be pulled. Everyone asks, why 2 jokers in the feature? And this is exactly why, because Mertz and Martel still have 1, but Sawyer is done, and he's stuck behind Grove in the 472. Palacio did get by Kaplinger in the 277, so we can move the Argentine up 1 spot. Mertz will joker. Martel does not. As we come to cross flags, Francois Martel will take the lead here in Scotland as Cody Cosgrove jokers, Grove jokers. Sawyer does not get by Mertz in the 1. So Sawyer, with that time that he was stuck behind Grove in the 472, is not going to benefit. He's going to lose that spot. Let's get a race rundown update. Martel, Mertz, Sawyer, Cosgrove, Morissette, Grove, Palacio, Dubois, Eric Kaplinger, and then Olivier Rateau. Looks like Rateau has some damage yet again on the 63. Martel does not joker again. He might be waiting until the last couple of laps to take his joker. And that's going to put Mertz in a tricky spot because he's going to have to focus on Sawyer behind and also still push for the race lead of Martel. And that's what's nice about this track. You can joker late and have the momentum off of the final corner. But what's different here compared to past tracks is you might get demolished on the joker merge, as we've seen so many times before. Last lap for Martel, 38.6. 38.1 for Mertz. 38.9 for Sawyer. So we talked about Mertz potentially having some issues here. Lap time wise, no issue is had for car number 1. We'll update people that are new. It has not been since 2019 B in Valkenswaard, 94 races ago, if you counted supercars, that Mertz has been on the top step of the podium. 4 years ago was his 40th win in NASA Rallycross, and while this is a different series, we still count stats combined, a lot like MotoGP does. So Mertz, an 8-time champion and 40 race wins, even though his car only says 1 championship. We come to 2 laps to go, and Francois Martel still has not jokered. 38.5, 37, or 38.7, apologies there, and a 38.6, so Sawyer was up slightly. Marcos Palacio, hearing that he crashed, not sure where, but he rolled it, and he is out of the race in the 83. As we're focused on this battle here for the race lead. 38.5, 38.9, 38.4. Mertz gave up a little bit of time in car number 1. And we're focused on these two because we don't know where Martel is going to come out in the 12 in relation to these two as we're coming to the white flag here in Scotland. Cosgrove, an impressive 4th. Grove, an impressive 5th in the 472. Morissette in his first race sits in 6th. Kaplinger, Dubois, Rateau. Martel jokers. He's going to come out battling Sawyer as Mertz takes the white flag. They are battling together. Martel takes the spot. Sawyer goes from 2nd to 3rd. And this is what Mertz needs to see. Still no change in 4th and 5th. Deep on the brakes is Martel into turn 2. These guys have 1 real corner left unless the one makes a severe mistake in the dirt. Cosgrove, Grove, Morissette, that running order has not changed. Through the dirt for the final time. It has been 94 races and over 4 years since the Irishman has stood on top of a NASA Rallycross podium. Mertz will do it in Knockhill!
Let's fucking go! Yes!
The elation over the scanner as Martel finishes 2nd.
Congrats, Josh, on your 40.
Sawyer 3rd, rounding out the podium. And win number 41 overall.
Good
Finally,
race, way to go,
for
buddy.
Mertz in car number 1.
Thanks, guys.
Fuck yeah, I got a fucking top 5.
Matt Grove elated with a 5th place finish as Cosgrove
Good racing, everybody.
came home in
Good
4th
racing.
on debut for Slapex and Lights. Then it's Joey Morissette, Kaplinger, Dubois, Rateau, and Palacio, as we'll take a look here shortly at what happened to Palacio in the 83. As a reminder of our couple cars that did not transfer out of the Constellation, they will score 11th down the order. So Sawyer's 11th, 12th Tofino, 13th De Giacomo, 14th Robichaux, 15th Just Rakowski. And what could have been for the Maryland driver, but the semifinal Constellation, whatever you want to call it, is 5 laps, not 6. So taking a look at what happened to Marcos Palacio, only completed 7 laps, and that's exactly what I had thought had happened as we take a look from high above. Palacio through the dirt in the 83 really has been struggling all evening long. Clipped the dirt on driver's left, that upset the car through the corner. Driver's right, clipped the tires, 2 wheels over in the 83, and plowed it into the tire barrier on corner exit. Tried to get back going, and is half-turtled in the struggle bus Volkswagen. As we're just about set to close up, as it's the first round of the championship, points are relatively the same. Mertz leads in the Drivers' Championship by 5 points over Francois Martel. Sawyer, Cosgrove, Grove rounding out the top 5. Teams Championship has JC Simsport on top of that table, 7 points ahead of TWR Struggle Bus, who is 2 points ahead of Slapex Racing, with 845 Subi rounding out the order. Just a reminder, our cameras for this entire season are provided by TrackCams22.com, and our intro music was produced by our very own Alex Abetti. And we have a couple programming notes before we say goodnight this evening. The Overwatch Specialty Service NASA Rallycross Challenge Round 2 from Brands Hatch next Monday, the 26th of June, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for practice. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we go live for that stream. That's going to be a great race right across in Great Britain. And then our next race for lights, next Friday the 30th, we're going to be on ASN On Demand from Brands Hatch. That's going to be an exceptional race, and we'll see if Josh Mertz can hold that championship lead in car number 1. The checkered flag falls on the evening. From all of us at the Automotive Sports Network, from Philip Krauss, Cody Erdman, Bryan Sawyer, my name is Josh Mertz, as we hope you enjoyed today's coverage of NASA Rallycross Lites from Knockhill. Be sure to join us on Monday for Supercars and Brands Hatch. But until then, so long, everyone.